Hello, everyone. I believe we are live now. So, welcome to another live session from Investing with a Difference. We are again back with a lot of news around EOS about what is happening and how the some of the exciting new features are coming up. In addition, we are going to talk about wallets, tools, and so on. So please, if you're still joining or if you're waiting, let us come together and hope we can all learn something new about yours today. We did a few videos last night, especially on the EOS RAM trading. This is one of the very exciting feature right now which we are tracking. Again, if you have watched this video and if you're excited, be very careful. We do not recommend people speculating without understanding the risks, and we are going to talk a little more about that as well. uh, I think we had some challenges with audio yesterday, so I hope many of you have confirmed that you are able to hear if you turn up the volume. So today also, I think I understand some people have a habit of complaining. Remember, we are just doing our best. We are trying to share information, building community. So I hope you will support this and let us know, and be constructive in your comments. Again, let us get together and first have a look at the market. So the good news is that Bitcoin has been going kind of sideways, but it's recovering slightly. We are in very stable around $6,700 mark. Let's go close look at 1 hour chart. So we have again settled into a very nice channel, which is, of course, we're seeing some big moves in the middle. And if you see here, most of these moves are coming with a decent amount of volumes. So as we noticed, if you go here, some of these moves, when we had this huge breakout from this particular very steep channel down, and we had some really nice volumes here from relative terms. Of course, the volumes have come down if you compare it with a month back, but relatively we had pretty nice breakout here. And again, we saw huge volumes on 18th June when we saw these highs. But what is happening is we are not able to break out of the 6,850 zone, and that is holding the market. So today again, we are trying to go on the upside of this channel, and my goal is, I think we should be hitting somewhere near 7,000 before we see any serious resistance. Now, coming back to the daily chart, so there are two scenarios which can play out. One is, I would say, it will hit this resistance level around 7,000 and it will go down again, which is the overall trend. If you see here, we have not yet reversed the medium term trend, even though we did a minor breakout when we looked at 1 hour chart. We still do not have a good clean breakout from the medium term downtrend. So, but if we do break out of 7,000 area, then I think my target is something like, let's say, 7,500 in the interim term, and that will be the next level to watch out for. So overall, I think Bitcoin dominance is 40%. Let's have a look at very recent data. Some of the things like I think 289 billion is still way below at where we were at the peak. So EOS has been going sideways and down actually. That is not pretty good from a short-term perspective. The reasons are, again, as I have been talking about in various forums, the main reason EOS is not picking up is there are a lot of FUD around the centralized nature of EOS. People who are not able to understand the governed blockchain, which is a brand new concept. It is not something which we have seen in any of the previous blockchain. EOS is trying to reflect real life and how the real world scenarios work versus Cordis law kind of blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So in that context, I think a lot of people are getting worried about the centralized nature of it. The SEC verdict of Ethereum has casted a shadow on whether the wording they used for declaring Ethereum decentralized, that is actually a risk for EOS. So those are the kind of things which is still not very clear. People are still continuing to spread that FUD, and overall the market is taking the price of EOS down. So I think what is going to happen is once the DApps start coming, for example, Everipedia is about to airdrop, and then we talk about what is really going to perk up EOS is when people start seeing real world applications. And that is something we need to wait for. So if people who are hoping for a quick buck, this is not the place. EOS is still in early days, so we need to always remember that. Now, what I was talking about in terms of the governance model, everybody who believes in EOS should read today's post. So today, Dan Larimer posted a pretty nice article on Medium, and this talks about what the good governance means and how EOS is designed. He has put up a comparison with the banking model. So he talked about what are the challenges with banking, and then he talked about what are the challenges with the current world of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And he said, while we are with Bitcoin and Ethereum have been trying to solve the macro issues of banking, they are actually not solving the individual issues where people lose their keys, they get stolen, there are scammers who get their keys, and that is something which people he's talked about of why there needs to be a governed model. There are a lot of things which EOS is putting together, and as we already talked about in last few videos, the freezing of the tokens which were supposed to be hacked, which were believed to be hacked. That is one example of how a governed blockchain will work. And this is something we need to all watch out for. Now, what is going to happen in future? I think we will have more and more voter proposals to define what is going to be the rules of identifying this kind of hacks, of making sure that there are laws against stealing, and they will be able to get the tokens to the right owner. Now, one more thing, which was a very interesting part, which Dan Larimer highlighted. So, anybody who is against this whole governance model, he is talking about why Bitcoin and Ethereum also have some sort of governance, even though it is not a democratic way. For example, there have been cases when Ethereum decided to hard fork when the DAO hack happened. This is something which Thomas Cook keeps talking about. That is $300 million worth of tokens were lost because of this fork and because of this DAO hack. Similarly, Bitcoin has once forked before. You can do a search and you will realize that one time somebody created billions of Bitcoin, which did not even exist. And there was a bug in the code which resulted in that unintended fork. And that is has happened previously in the history of Ethereum and Bitcoin, even though they believe that it is code is a law kind of a philosophy. So he is trying to present a case that a governed model is needed, and there has to be a process and a constitution which we need to follow, versus a single person or undefined governance model, which is ad hoc, which has happened in Ethereum and Bitcoin world, and that is definitely not good. So it's a good read. I would assume that all of you who are interested in EOS, please read this article. It's a very, very good take on it, and that's what we love about EOS, because of the people like Dan Larimer, who is the architect of this EOS chain, and the kind of thought process he brings into the system. And it's great to see that he's still very actively writing about it while supporting the community, while he's working on the next projects, which are the DApps he talks about on EOS. One more thing which I would like to highlight, which happened, is EOS worker proposal. So this is the worker proposal system. So this is the first draft charter which has been put together. So Thomas Cook has been leading this discussion, and they have published some details of what they are going to do. So as you may know already, the 4% of inflation is actually reserved for worker proposals. That means there will be proposals for projects which you can vote, and the money will be spent from this inflation which on those proposals. It can be things like building of infrastructure, building of wallets, building of tools, or some kind of maybe any kind of usage of funds. So this is very similar to what happens in typical governance systems, where you as a voter, as a participant in democracy, you decide how the money is spent, and that is going to be the plan. Now they are looking at announcing the project. They already announced the project, so they are looking at presenting this particular charter, which is today, and they have already published this charter, and they're going to translate into all languages, and then they are going to start working towards minimum viable product, which is the first implementation of this worker proposal system, and that will really define how the money will be used, how the next steps will be taken by the block producers. Now, next topic I think we are going to talk about is wallets. So before we jump into that, we would like to highlight, we earlier talked about EOS Flare tool, eosflare.io, and we are actually taking this back now, that please don't use eosflare.io. There are a lot of issues reported by various people who have been using EOS Flare. They don't have all the transactions showing up. Their update of balances are very, very late, and you do not want to rely on that to know what is your token balance, what is your stake token balance, because this can be old information, and we are not really happy with how this tool is progressing. So we would like to guide you towards other tools. So we really like the Crypto Lion tool, which is EOS Network Monitor.io, and EOS Network Monitor.io. What you can do is you can go here into account info, and you can type your account name, and you can get the status and history of your account. And this is much more reliable. This is getting live updated, and that is something you really need to use. Again, as I said, EOS Flare has been very good for us for some time, but they're facing some challenges. As you can see here, this is our account which we used for voting, for transferring, and we are not seeing all the transactions. So you may be missing transactions if you're using EOS Flare, so do not use that anymore. Another tool is EOS Web. This is eosweb.net. This is also, you can enter your account name here, and you can see, and they have some cool tools. They are actually looking at analytics, like you can look at the top accounts, who is holding how many tokens, all kind of things. It's a very interesting tool. It shows you the whales. It shows you what is going on. Other than that, of course, they have the typical block producer view and so on. So it's a good tool to play around. We will keep an eye on how this will go. So eosweb.net and EOS Network Monitor. So this is the most reliable, I would say, EOS Network Monitor.io. Again, let me remind you, don't put ever your private keys or public keys. Try to use your account name. If you don't know your account name, you need to go and really go to the EOS New York website and find it out. This was based on your Ethereum address earlier, and everybody should know their account names. That is the safest way to use your transfers and everything else in future. Now, wallets, I would say, GreyMass tool is, we are recommending greatly. Please go ahead and start using it for voting, for unstaking. The reason I recommend this now is why it is safe, because of two reasons. One is, most of the block producers have actually endorsed this tool. So GreyMass is the most endorsed tool by block producers. And with the governance model of EOS, let us say in worst case, there's a bug in GreyMass which leads to a lot of people losing their keys and report. So first of all, already we are over 1 week. You can unstake tokens. People have started using this GreyMass wallet for a very long time. We are comfortable now. Second thing is, even if there is a problem, this was the earliest tool used by people. No loss of keys have been reported. No other issues have been reported. It's being heavily used. And even if that happens, we are sure that because it was well-supported tool by block producers, they will find a way to recover your any such loss of keys or any other problems in the blockchain. So that's the advantage of governed blockchain. And that is one reason now we are more and more comfortable. The other thing I would say is Scatter, which is everybody's using, and it is very safe now. Please make sure that you watch the videos for Scatter of how do you validate the Chrome extension. So the only worry we had earlier was how do you verify you are downloading the right extension, and that is something you need to be very sure when you're installing it and when you're importing your keys. So these are the two things we recommend. So anybody who's asking questions again and again about wallets, I would say we are very comfortable using Greymass and Scatter wallet. And using Scatter is very important, I would say, even if you're using Greymass, because as I said, there are some nice tools which the toolkit by Generos, which is Generous, this is Generos, they have created. And this I would say is one of the key thing you need to use. So you can create your account, you can create new accounts, you can actually set proxies for somebody. Like you can have this is a pretty important tool. So they are providing you a way where you can use your account and you can give your proxy to some other account who can vote on your behalf. And I'm assuming because a lot of people who are not interested in voting and tracking these things, and they believe somebody, they will assign the proxy to the other person. So what is happening here? What is this proxy? This is the same thing which what exchanges are doing. For example, Bitfinex is using this proxy system to vote on behalf of their account holders, and that is very good tool. It's open source, it's a reliable tool. So we are very happy that some of these exchanges are playing very fairly. And similarly, there are more ways you can do this thing using proxy. We did the video yesterday for buy and selling RAM. Again, I would say you should be very careful if you're contributing here. One thing I would like to highlight is right now the 64 gig RAM is what all the block producer have. Dan Larimer had recommended 1 terabyte for the chain. So as the new RAM is added, the prices will come down. Now, how can you track prices? We shared the tool yesterday, but EOS New York has come up with another site, which is eosrp.io. And this has a very good tool where you can track the price of the RAM, of the network price, and CPU. This is designed for not for speculators. These are designed for people who are designing an app, and they are going to be using this tool to define whether how much money they need to run an app based on their RAM requirement, their network requirement, and the CPU price requirement. So these are some cool tools which are coming up, and we're very excited about these tools. So that is something I would say you need to really look at of how things are really heading. All right, guys. So these are some of the topics I wanted to discuss. So let me quickly look at the questions what are coming. And if you have already entered your questions before and we have not taken them up, please send them again, and that would help us to take it. So the first question we are seeing here is name bidding. I think, let me tell you one thing. For if you there are two things. One is, do not worry about name bidding. You do not want to do that. What you want to do is you want to create an account for yourself which is free, which only needs very small amount of RAM. You go to this Generous toolkit, which is toolkit.genereos.io/tools. We have posted this link many times. You can log in with the Scatter wallet. You can attach your identity using Scatter wallet, and you can simply go and create an account name, and you can put your public key, which is the same key which your account has. That will give you the same account being the owner of the new account, and that will give you, and you can create a username. This is free. You do not have to bid for it. The only restriction is it has to be 12 characters. Now, what is a name auction, name bidding? That is only one account every day that is going to be bid. And as you can see here, there is this will be starting very soon. Right now, this is not yet getting auctioned, but when it does, this is not for any typical account. This is for some special names. And if a lot of people have added names and now they have taken back, because earlier we remember we saw up to 500 pages of content here. The thing is, if you add a new name now, it will come up maybe after years, because only one name is getting auctioned every day. So this is going to take a very long time for all of them to be auctioned. So do not really worry about this. This is only for big players who are speculating on these names, yeah, or the smaller names. You don't need that. You can always use the 12 character names, whatever you want to create. And that is what is more important. All right. So any other questions, folks? Please repeat your questions if you put in your chat. So for the name bidding, do not worry about this. So now the questions are coming in. How are these new D apps are able to afford RAM and bandwidth without an ICO? So I would say today, if you go back and look at where we are in terms of prices, uh, the actual RAM requirement means you can easily bootstrap a simple D app using uh, the currently the utilization of RAM is very low. So even if you buy very limited tokens and if you stake them and run a D app, the early movers will be able to run the application very cheap, because you are reserving this bandwidth, but you can always use more bandwidth if it is available. So I don't think there is any big concern right now. But what is the model? How the DApps will in future raise money? They will provide you an airdrop. That airdrop will get listed. That will get priced. Once that pricing happens on the exchange, that whatever tokens the app is holding, they can sell it in the market to raise more money. This is very similar to ICO model, but doesn't involve doing an actual ICO and getting in trouble with regulators. So that is going to be the future model of funding for these DApps. I hope that I explained it well, but the basic idea is that most of these DApps are going to use the airdrop model to raise funds. That's the beauty of EOS, because you do not need to spend money on airdrops. In Ethereum network, you had to spend money even to do airdrops, which is not scalable. And that is what I think EOS will enable. The question, are there any advantages of having EOS net staked or CPU staked? Okay, so there are two parts to the question. Should I unstake it? So let me answer that first. Please do not unstake unless you want to withdraw them, because unstaking means they are ready to withdraw. And ready to withdraw means you have no actual early warning, and some hacker who gets hold of your keys, he can take away your tokens immediately. Now, if you want them to be ready to be withdrawn, if you want to sell them off or do want to do something specific with them, then you can unstake them. Now, any advantage between net and CPU? I think that depends on what actions you are taking. If you're using like when you vote, you do a big transaction. So let me give you an example. So when we voted for these block producers, this took a lot of network bandwidth, because you're actually sending all these names into the command. And if you see here, um, you end up using 256 of the 26.33 bandwidth. Again, this is still a very small, voting doesn't take away too much, because it's still, but I'm just giving you an example. If you send bigger and bigger transactions with a lot of data, that needs bandwidth. If you do more transaction with less data, that needs CPU. That means how much time you spend. So like, for example, this account needs 5.29 seconds. You still have available. And remember, this thing will again get refreshed. So it's showing you zero, because zero utilized, because it again refreshes your account once. So we need to still look at the algorithm. It's a little bit technical of how they update it. But basic idea is that you get a certain allocation of CPU and bandwidth, and you need to monitor how much you have used. And based on that, you can stake or unstake more based on how much you have already used. So that is a very simple explanation. But as you do more and more transactions on blockchain, if you're a DApp developer, you will realize what your DApp relies on, whether it relies on a lot of data to be carried, or whether it relies on a lot of transactions without much data. That defines whether you need more CPU or more bandwidth. If you're just an investor, who is not using the tokens for accessing the network, it doesn't matter where you stake them, whether CPU or bandwidth. You're just taking them to vote, and that means that you are locking your tokens for 3 days, and you're not really going to use this CPU or network anyway. All right, let's take other questions. What is the importance about the names? The importance of names is that you will have, just like email addresses have importance, like what email you want. Similarly, these account names will be used for every transaction for any apps which are going to be using EOS network. Your identity is your EOS account name. So it depends on how much importance you give it to that. If you're okay with a random name, that's fine. If you want to create a specific name, you can do that. Any news about hardware wallets? I would say hardware wallets are being developed. Nothing concrete yet. As we updated last time, somebody has already shown a working prototype of Ledger Nano S, but that is still not official. So I would say it will take. It's just a 1 week or like 10 days since this blockchain has started, and it's active for almost like only a week. So I think we need to give some time for people to experiment to make a safe wallet. Um, that is for Ledger Nano S and Treasure, but I would say I am really waiting for Block One's wallet, which will allow more than just storing the tokens. It will allow you to stake, unstake, and a lot of other things, hopefully. That is the expectation. Dan Larimer specifically mentioned that they're working on iOS wallet. That means it's already ready, and they're waiting for approval from Apple Store, from the App Store from Apple. And that will be your iPhone based wallet, which will be secure using your iPhone security, and that is something is also going to be available soon. Okay, any other questions? Anyone got the Evo airdrop? Evo airdrops has been going on super slow, I think, because it is still on Ethereum network. It consumes gas, it consumes network bandwidth, which is not there on Ethereum, and they are totally clueless team. I've totally given up. Don't worry about Evo. It may not even be worth anything. Again, I'm pretty harsh on them because I think they have no clue what they're doing based on the comments I'm reading about how they're progressing. They're not doing anything. The code is released for 20 days now, and they haven't really come up with a plan to launch a blockchain. What should we do with the unstaked 10 tokens now that we launched the network? It's up to you. What do you want to do? Because those are your tokens available to make transactions. Remember, you need at least 0.1 unstaked token to make any further transactions. You need some unstaked tokens. So never unstake you never unstake and withdraw all your tokens. Yes, that's right. You need at least 0.1 staked token to make any more transactions. It's just like Ethereum, where you need some gas. In this case, you do not really spend your EOS, but to make any transaction on the network, you need to have at least 0.1 EOS when you withdraw or unstake or do anything with them. That is one thing. The second thing is you can do anything with those 10 EOS. You can spend them. You can buy RAM. You can send it to anybody. You can do a lot of things because, as I said, there are a lot of wallets which we trust now. Greymass wallet allows you to send it to this EOS generous tool, Generios, however you call them. They allow you to buy RAM, to buy usernames. All these things are possible with 10 tokens. But you can unstake more of them if you're comfortable, and you can use as you like it. So what else, guys? So I will have to close in 10 to 15 minutes. So please let us know any other questions. What do you think about Simple EOS wallet? It's still new. I'm hearing good comments about Simple EOS. Again, as I said, my goal is that I would recommend something which is getting more and more support from various BPs, which are the official guardian of your EOS tokens. And anything which is going to be supported by various BPs, like more than one or maybe up to 5 or 6 BPs, I would recommend them. If you have any evidence that more than 2 or 3 BPs are already supporting Simple EOS, we will look into it. Right now, we are happy with the Greymass. We will definitely look more into Simple EOS. Will all Genesis coin be on ERC20 contracts forever? I think you are not really understanding what's going on. There is no ERC20 anymore. Any project which is giving you tokens on ERC20, they are not doing a great thing. They are either trying to buy votes. Most of the block producers did that because they didn't want to wait for EOS chain to establish. They wanted to buy votes in one way or other because they wanted to give you some incentive to vote for them. And that's why they gave it you on ERC20. Most of the other token holders are going to get those airdrops on EOS chain. So do not worry about ERC20 anymore. ERC20 is like a dinosaur now. Once EOS becomes active, if you really believe in EOS, there is no reason anybody should do any airdrop on ERC20. It's costly, it is slow, and it is useless if you are a EOS based project. What about Eon? Is it going to be automatically airdropped? So Eon is a interesting example. So okay, what happened with Eon? Eon is a very disappointing project. They decided that anybody who doesn't claim, so they had a claim function. First of all, there is no need for anybody to claim. Anybody can airdrop using the snapshot. They decided not to do that. So let me go to eon.org. So this was a project which we do not really understand very well. They decided that anybody who owns their own tokens in the personal wallets, you have to make a claim by sending a transaction by actually spending gas. It was a very bad timing because they did it when the tokens were just frozen. They declared a few days back, and then they said that you have to do it before June 1st or June 2nd, which was a very vulnerable time for EOS token holders. And now they're saying that whoever did not claim will not get these tokens. The other part is that they are working with exchanges to deliver these tokens. So I think this is more of a their plan to work with because if you know, many of the airdrops are not being supported by Binance and many other exchanges, and now they're supporting Eon. It doesn't really make sense because first of all, they are not even allowing anybody else to claim these tokens. They said that you had to make a transaction, and now I don't believe this is going to be supported by community. People are not really happy by the way they approached it. Not many people have claimed it. If you are really a believer in EOS, I'm sure you held your own tokens in your personal wallets, in MyEther wallet, MetaMask, Exodus, whatever way you held the ERC20 tokens. And I didn't see a reason why we should recommend it. There is no good knowledge about this project. This has become popular because Binance made a big announcement that they're going to support this airdrop. I don't know whether it will be worth anything. Binance is not even listing it. And I would say all the EOS exchanges should boycott it because the way they carried out this token airdrop. All right, guys, what are the other questions? I'm confused on post-launch. I thought we had stake tokens into a voting contract to vote. They split the 10 and split the remainder toward bandwidth and CPU. Okay, so don't be confused. All your tokens which are staked, they can be used for voting. Now, for example, let's go back to this account again, the example. So in this case, there are 120 EOS which are staked and there are 24 which are unstaked. Now, in this account, this 120 token you can use to vote anytime. And they gave you 10 tokens to immediately start transacting, to start sending, because you can still buy RAM, you can buy usernames. So that was a decision made for enabling basic functions on the chain, while they wanted to keep maximum staked for security, for various other reasons, like you do not want too many unstaked token in the system, people start withdrawing. And ultimately EOS is designed for usage on the system that is for CPU and bandwidth. And this was just a default configuration of 50-50 split, 60 here and 60 there, because nobody knows how you will be using this EOS. So nothing to be worried about. This is just, you need to learn about how these tokens are used, what is the utility of EOS. Just read about it and you will understand it. What other things? When will Binance let us withdraw EOS? Binance has not implemented the mainnet wallets. They are still trading the ERC20 tokens. When they're ready, they switch to mainnet tokens. it doesn't matter right now, because whatever tokens you're buying on Binance, they will get converted automatically to mainnet token when they are ready. They're not ready yet, and when they do it, they will declare it, and then maybe they will open it for withdrawal. Even if they're ready for withdrawal, where will you withdraw them? Maybe you need to either set up a gray mass wallet or some other wallets. So you need to understand that first. It's not going to be easy process, because a lot of testing has to go through for exchanges before they start supporting that. All right. Our Exodus ERC20 now regular EOS. None of the tokens are in ERC20 anymore. So I think I've been repeating it so many times, I'm going to repeat it again, uh, that the ERC20 tokens are useless. They don't stay on our wallet, either Exodus or anything. They stay on blockchain. Exodus or any other wallet is simply an interface. So your tokens are on mainnet, and you have your keys. And now Exodus, whenever they support the mainnet EOS wallet, you will be able to start accessing them. So the current tokens which are frozen on ERC20, they do not get automatically converted unless each of these tools start supporting the mainnet tokens. It's about what you're looking at. It has nothing to do with where your tokens reside. Your tokens reside on blockchain. They don't reside in wallets. Your wallets are only the keys. What else, guys? So are we at this point able to transfer new EOS tokens to an exchange? Not yet, because the exchanges do not support mainnet tokens yet. All tokens are still frozen. No, ERC20 are frozen because they are dead. They will never be unfrozen. The EOS mainnet is live for last 1 week, and you can do whatever you want with them. The only thing is, how do you access them? Those are through wallets. What are those wallets? Greymas wallets, Simple EOS, Scatter wallet. This is how you access them. That is what you need to understand. I think many of you are asking these questions again and again. I would say you do not really understand blockchain. You are investing in it. Be very careful. You can lose your money without understanding what's going on. Tokens are not physical entity. They are just an entry in a blockchain. The new blockchain has started. ERC20 is dead for EOS. That is no value. That was just a snapshot. Now the snapshot is done. All you need is a new accounts on EOS. This is the first day. Forget about what happened in last 1 year. That was just a database creation for this mainnet launch. Now you are on the snapshot. You have to learn the totally new system. EOS is not a ERC20 anymore. EOS has nothing to do with your existing previous wallets before 1st June. You have to learn new tools. You have to learn new wallets. Or maybe Exodus and any other wallets, they will start supporting this new chain. And that's when you will start seeing them. Wait for their announcements. Before that, you cannot do anything with them. So somebody has just updated. So Barry, thank you for updating that you can transfer to Bitfinex. We don't have any Bitfinex accounts with us. So it means that Bitfinex is ready with their wallet and they're accepting deposits. That's great to know. We will try to find out more information and share with you in future videos. Many of these Bitfinex is actually doing a lot of good things for EOS, because they are a block producer candidate. They are actually #1 now. If you look at what is happening, Bitfinex is actually the top block producer, which is right now at #1 in terms of voting, and they are really creating a great EOS ecosystem. So I would say that I'm not surprised that they are the first one to enable deposits. All right, so I'm seeing most of the questions are now repeated. We do not have any more new questions. So I think, just as a summary, I think a lot of good things happening. The worker proposal systems is coming along for voting. There's a lot of talk about governance. There has been already, we have talked about what happened with ECAF, the frozen wallets in previous videos. Market is recovering, so everything is looking good. EOS is not recovering yet because there is nothing much happening beyond setting up of the chain. So chain is active, it's working as expected. We need to be patient if you're an investor. the real potential for EOS will be realized when DApps start coming. And I think every PDI is the first one to airdrop. I heard that the airdrop is starting soon and it will happen in next week or so. So we will soon learn about how you will be able to see it. Again, I would say if you want to see what balance you expect on every PDI, it's a 5.1 tokens for every EOS token held. So you can again go to that every PDI network um, .github.io, and you can go to the airdrop. I think I missed out the airdrop, and you can enter your EOS public key and you can view your balance. So this will tell you how much balance you have, and this is something which uh, is the biggest airdrop, I would say, because of the kind of application they're building, the kind of team they are. And going forward, we should see, once these kind of things start happening, we will see more and more people realizing the potential of EOS, and especially the airdrop model, which will create a lot of attention. RAM buying will create a lot of demand for EOS because, as I said, it's going to be a big speculation market. People are buying more and more RAM. So right now it's only 9% utilized because no DApp is running. It's mostly because people have bought it. And see, just now I reloaded from 9.14, it become 9.31%. So more and more RAM is getting utilized. So this is going to at some point reach 100%. RAM prices will go up. This is what speculators are counting on. But remember, it will come down very fast when these block producers upgrade this RAM from 64 gig to, let's say, 128 or maybe up to 1 terabyte. That's what Dan Larimer had suggested, that it can be 1 terabyte plus for each chain of EOS. So what else, guys? So I think I have another 5 minutes actually. If there are quick questions, I can take them. So people are talking about how do we view airdrops. So EOS token trackers are being developed. It depends on who is going to be issuing tokens on EOS contract versus a new contract on EOS chain. So there is no ERC20 equivalent. It is currently, it's a EOS token contract, which is the standard system contract. And there was a lot of discussion around who will be using the EOS system contract versus who will be using like a parallel contract which you will create. And depending on that, you will be able to see the tokens coming into your tools, into your wallets. But most of the wallets will start supporting. This is again a new feature. How to show, so wallets are still under development. The early wallets like Greymass and all, right now they have not confirmed how, whether they will show these airdrops. But I believe this is not a very difficult feature. Definitely you will start seeing airdrops on these network monitors. So if you enter your account here and if you look at the history of the account, you will definitely see airdrops coming on that. But in terms of wallets, that is a more of a wallet feature when they will start showing the you airdrops. Any updates on IQ airdrops? As I said, IQ airdrops are coming, and they have told that this will happen before end of June. All right, guys. So I think I will start wrapping up. A quick comment again. So do watch the RAM trading video, which was a very interesting topic, and do continue telling us what you'd like to see. I think we have covered a lot of ideas today in terms of what's happening. Again, we have, I would like to highlight that now that mainnet is active, we are accepting donation in EOS. This is the most exciting thing for us. It doesn't cost any gas. We have already started doing transactions. So if you want to donate, please use our EOS account now, because that's something we all support and we all work towards. And even if you send like a 0.1 EOS, you don't cost any gas. This is the great thing about EOS. So these are some of the things which we are excited about, and the instantaneous transactions and so on. That is something I would say is the most exciting part of EOS. And again, thanks a lot for your support. We are now 1982 subscribers. One thing I would like to highlight is, as I've been repeating many times, we are not just EOS-based investors. Like I personally have a lot of experience in stock market, and we are investigating and investing in the next big things in the tokens. So very soon we are going to announce a program where we can share with you our research and create a way of maybe a subscription model. So let us know if you're interested. Send us messages on the email which we have provided here in our link, and do send us your inquiries. We are accepting those right now. Again, as I said, this is a closed group of investors. We do not accept a lot of people, so we are not going to be able to keep it open for very long. So if you're interested, do send us, and we are going to soon release more information on various levels of interaction you can have with our research. So thanks once again for all your love and your likes, and please keep liking our videos and sharing with friends. We'll keep continuing our coverage of EOS. Our goal is to make EOS is the biggest thing we believe which is happening in the blockchain world, and we will keep updating you on that, while we will definitely start covering more and more other tokens. We are already doing that in our investor group, and we think that blockchain is just starting. It's in early days, and if you're an investor in Bitcoin, I would say this is still it's a good time to buy. I'm not saying that it is not going to go down again. This is all about the market. It's about how the money is flowing and speculation around futures market and so on. But I think long term, because of the scarcity of Bitcoin and the way it is uh, acting as digital gold, we believe that long term is pretty solid for Bitcoin, and this is going to be a reserve currency for the blockchain world for a very long time. We don't see any other tokens replacing that. So again, thanks for joining, and we will close our video now. And do let us know if you have any other questions in comment section, and please like and share the videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.